audience, but not altogether geriatric, and it was very important. It was for the right to water. It was a march that I think we were all cheered up by and buoyed by, because having gone through maybe 6 months or 8 months of having no demonstrations on the question of water, thousands of people turned out from communities right across the country to push the government on the question of abolition of the water charges. So I think it's been really an extraordinary week, but it's not over yet, because on Tuesday when the Dáil returns, the bus workers will be marching to the Dáil. They're leaving Parnell Square at 3 o'clock on Tuesday. Any of you who are around, you should get down there and support them. They'll be joined by teachers and by nurses at the Dáil, and they're demanding pay justice. And all of this is coming on top of the major, I don't know if you even call it a scandal, but the outrage of the Apple tax and the NAMA scandals and the tax loopholes and the injustice that's being carried on in this country at every level. So the message will go back to the Dáil today, that today was our citizens' assembly. We're not waiting, and we're not waiting for them to go through the debates, the tired old debates of when does life start and when is a fetus got more rights than the mother and all of that bollocks. We have a right as women to decide our own fate. Now, having said that, I know that there are people in our movement who don't entirely agree, and there are people in Peopel Before Profit who don't entirely agree. But when you are faced with the barbarity and the deprivation of equal rights to half of the population, a political party like Peopel Before Profit must and has to stand on the principal basis of standing up for justice and equality. And what today was about was equal rights for women. I mean, we've been through more than a century, probably 1.5 centuries, of the women's movement, starting with the suffragettes who starved and got beaten up and jailed and all the rest of it, demanding a simple thing like the vote that women didn't have. Well, this is not a whole 9 yards from having the right to vote. Having the right to vote means having the right to express your political view. Having the right to abortion means having the right to express your own bodily autonomy, as Sinead put it so well earlier on. So it's a very, very important issue, and thankfully the young people of Ireland have wakened up to it. And as was announced from the stage today, there are now abortion rights campaigns and repeal the 8th Amendment campaigns in nearly every county throughout Ireland. So that's a fantastic achievement. I happened to speak at a public meeting for the repeal campaign in Waterford last night, and I got there late, but as the meeting progressed, I discovered that before the meeting, there were over 100 people marched through Waterford City demanding repeal the 8th Amendment. And as one of the members of the audience said to us, in the 80s, when they fought, a small handful of socialists and Caroline Duggan and Waterford Glass workers fought to be on the side of no 8th Amendment, they were practically beaten off the streets by bishops with croziers and mad things with rosary beads and, you know, all sorts of priests condemning them from the pulpit and all the rest of it. Those of us who are old enough remember that. But this world has changed. Ireland has changed, and changed utterly, and thankfully so. So I think we need to do a couple of things. I'm going to finish up on what is to be done, because I think it's really important. First of all, I did mention the right to water, and I'm talking about the bus workers and the nurses and the teachers and today. What we need to do as a political party is to ensure that those struggles are recognised as one struggle. They are not just sort of atomised and here go the teachers, here go the bus workers, here go the young people over repeal, and then, you know, here goes somebody else about tax justice. These are the one struggle, and they represent a struggle for a different kind of world. A world of equals, a world of justice, and a world of equality. Whether it's workers' rights or community rights or tax justice, these things are linked. And that's what Peopel Before Profit attempts to do, both in the Dáil, but more importantly outside the Dáil. Because today was our citizens' assembly. This crap that they're giving us, that they'll randomly choose 99 citizens from the electoral register to decide whether or not we should repeal the 8th Amendment. I mean, give me a break. And in the meantime, they meet and they be wined and dined and put up in hotels, and they spend a lot of taxpayers' money on having these same old tired debates that we've had for 33 years of our lives, and at the end of it, we've no guarantee that they'll conclude that we have a right to a referendum on repeal the 8th. And even after that, when they repeal the 8th, we've no guarantee that we'll have a right to abortion rights. So this fight is not going away. Don't think for 1 minute we march today and we go home tomorrow and it's end of story. This is a fight to change the whole of society. A number of young people stopped me today because they recognised me from, I don't know, YouTube or something, but they were saying to me, "You're doing a great job, thanks very much. But how do we get change? Why are people electing them same sad old Fianna Fáil bastards back in?" Now, one answer for that is the issue Richard raised, is that they steal our clothes. And they do, Catherine Arda, who went to the 9th count with me during the election, has signed the pledge for repeal the 8th Amendment. Where is her voice now in the Shannon? Was she on the march today? Was Willie O'D there? Was all these people who signed things, who said they would get rid of the water charges? No way. They are talking out of both sides of their mouth in order to get back in. They smell the coffee, they describe themselves as centre-left, but we've got to get ahead of them. And the reason I'm saying that is because we need more people to get political and to join left-wing political parties, and the best one to join is People Before Profit. And I'm saying that proud and open today. If you're not a member, you should join. The last thing I want to say is that the question of the bill before the Dáil on the 18th October is not just the next step, but it's the next most important step that we have in this fight. In the meantime, in every area, like Waterford did last night, we need to be out shouting and marching and having meetings and organising. We're organising in South Central on Wednesday night. We're launching our campaign there. And we need to be doing that in every little community, every college, every workplace that we can. But when the bill does come before the Dáil, maybe the 18th of October, it might be put back because of the budget. But when it does, we need tens of thousands of people outside the Dáil. And we'll repeat what we did when Claire Daly put the bill the last time. We'll have live streamed evidence of the debate inside, and we'll have tens of thousands of people outside that can listen carefully to whom is saying what and how they get elected and what they represent. This is important, and I think we need to build for that. But more important is we need to stay on the streets and stay loud and stay proud. And I think the question of uniting the fights north and south is hugely important, and I don't see anybody else doing that except the People Before Profit Alliance. And other groups are trying to do it, and there was buses down from the anti-abortion campaign today. But this is really important, as Coretti Horgan said, and I have to say she was the only one that lit a belly or fire in our bellies today when she talked about how James Connolly described partition would yield a carnival of reaction north and south. And that is exactly what happened. If you live in the north, you're putting up with the reaction of a bigoted sectarian Protestant state. If you live in the south, you're putting up with the reaction of a bigoted sectarian Catholic state. This has to end. And together we can change it, together we can fight it. But get political, don't let what happen to us what's happening in Poland, that the right get ahead. The left have to get ahead. This is a time and we cannot wait.